Okay, welcome everyone. This is going to be the last video for phase 3, which is the entry criteria. We've kind of already went over, the bearish scenario, the bullish scenario, the money candle, things like that, okay? The last thing I wanted to add to this part, and I don't want to make this too long, okay? I want to try to keep this course as compact as possible because from what I've learned and all the courses that I've taken, when the courses were too long, it was just too much information for people to absorb, or even for me, right? And some of the best courses I ever took were the ones that gave you just enough information for you to make the right decision. So I want to keep the entry criteria short, so you can literally write this down in a book and have it in front of you every single day when you trade. Okay, this is the checklist, right? And I'm gonna make a PDF of that checklist and bring it in later as well. One other thing that I wanted to cover, okay, and it's this. These type of trades that we take, they can be taken on any time frame. You can even take these trades on a 4-hour time frame. The higher that you go, the more chances of success you will have. Okay, if you sit around and wait all week for one trade to hit the 4-hour supply zone, like GU, I've been going GU short on GU for a little while, obviously on the lower time frames, but let's say you were on the 4-hour, right? And you just drew out your little supply zone. You waited for the 4-hour candle to print, and then the next candle to just break below, right? You could have easily gotten this trade right here, and this would have been such a confirmed trade. Okay, you didn't, if you actually held it, no, you would have gotten stopped out of break even. But anyways, point being, there's just more confirmation in these trades. The lower the time frames you go, the kind of more noise gets introduced and the harder it becomes. But I've also made the most money that way, right? And if you're going to be doing a challenge, this is a very important video for you. This is called scaling in for more profits, right? Once we have already gotten our first position, our first entry has already been entered, right? We've already entered on our first position. And we know that this trade is looking good. It's looking really good. You got a good entry. We're pushing down or we're pushing up. And you're doing it, especially if you're doing a challenge, this is really useful because you're going to want to try to get another entry in there. So where you were going to make, if you risk 1% and you were going for a 1 to 3, you throw in another 0.5%, and you can end up with 4.5%, 5% in one day, one trade, and it's over as long as you pick the right one. So I'm going to show you how I scale into trades, and I do this all the time. It's really what makes the difference at the end of the month of how much money you've made, or even at the if you've passed the challenge or not. It makes a big difference, right? So I just had something drawn out here. Of course, on the 1 hour, this would be our main primary zone we would be looking to short at. But because we have one, possibly this would be like 4, 3, 4, 15-minute candles. This is enough for us to draw something out here as well because we've broken structure to the left. We don't have to take a trade here, but we would be, we would just keep an eye on the candlesticks, okay? And this looks like it's giving you a pretty good entry. I would take it. We're on a strong downtrend. The question would be, how do we get in again? How do we get in again? So I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart and we're going to try to find this again. I'm going to keep this video very short, just enough information for you to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Let's see. Because all of these supply and demand areas, they're on all time frames, right? They're on the 4-hour, they're on the daily. The higher you go, the better chances you have of getting the right, getting a good opportunity, a good trade, okay? So here is where we would have entered on our first position. It would have probably been, let's take a rough guess, if we were very safe and we waited for like the 30-minute candle to break, we would have had our entry right here, okay? Stops would have been up here, okay? And you would have had your whatever, 1 to 3 down here somewhere where this push started. We have a bearish candle and then a push to the upside. So you had your 1 to 3, okay? Great. You made your money. You're gonna make this money. It's gonna hit. You're gonna get this 3%. But we want to capitalize on the good trade that we just found, right? We found a good zone. We got a good entry. We're doing a challenge, right? Why not take it to the next level? If you feel comfortable, do not do this right off the bat in the start. I want you guys to come back to this video maybe a month later, half a month later, when you're picking your zones correctly, when you're entering trades correctly. Come back to this video later when you're ready to do this. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it when you're ready. As you can see, even on this leg that's breaking structure, this is why I had that video about market structure. You need to know market structure on every time frame. The 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, the 15 minutes. But this is a confluence, right? If we were looking to take a trade up here and we kind of missed this because we were unsure, look, this leg broke this structure. This was a higher low that we had put in. So we know this trade is going to go to the downside now. If we already have an entry here, great. But now we can, because we're confident in our trade now, we can look for a second entry again. Okay. So once you're going to enter here, we're going to push down here. We're going to start pulling back up into your entry. Then it's for you to decide, okay, I have about 3 supply zones here. Which one can I take? Which one can I take? Personally, in a situation like this, I probably would have drawn this zone out. But looking at the way that the candle came straight blasting through it, I would have just simply moved to the next one because we didn't have any reaction here. And at this time, you need to stick to the 5 minute. You already know you have your entry off the 15 minute, the 1 hour. It's already going, you know it's going to be okay on that one, right? We're looking for just this is kind of like a bear flag pattern, which I'm going to talk about later. So it didn't do any kind of reaction from here. We're looking for a reaction from here or here if it makes it all the way up. It didn't make it all the way up. It made it to here. Perfect candlestick pattern for the rollover. If you want it to be really tight with this, I mean, I get these entries all the time, man. All the time. But just to be safe, just to show you guys what a safe version, like I would enter right up here. And my stop loss would be here. That's it. Big risk to reward. Just to be sure, we can let this another bearish 5 minute candle print, and we have structure here, a little bit of structure. Wait for this candle. Look at this candle. This candle went bullish and then broke the low of that candle. You can enter right there. Okay, you can enter right there. Stop loss can be very tight if you want here to be safe up here. Okay, I go very tight. But that's because I'm pretty confident in what I'm doing. So, you could go on this one. You could go easily a 1 to 4, okay, and you already have a 1 to 3 on your other trade. So that's 2,000 on your 0.5 entry, 2%, and you have 3% coming from the other one. That's basically 5%, $5,000, 5%. If you can catch one good trade like this a day, you can be done the challenge in 2 days. Once you're funded and you stick to the plan, you stick to our entry criteria, you refine your zones, you get better and better at understanding market direction, market structure, and you get better at improve those things, improve your zones, man. Spend at least 1 hour a day back testing your zones every day, okay? I hear a lot of people in my Instagram saying I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, how bad do you really want it? Because last year, last year was not very profitable for me, but I knew one thing. I really wanted it. So I spent a lot of time figuring this out, figuring out a system that works. And even till today, I'll spend 30 minutes a day just back testing, even though I don't really need to. So it's all about how bad do you really want it, okay? If you want it bad enough, you can have it. Once you're funded and you learn these scaling entries, oof, man, you can just destroy the charts like what? You don't need no signals. You don't need anybody. You don't need nothing. You can quit your job, whatever you want to do, okay? As long as you stay disciplined, control your emotions, and have everything written down systematically. Everything we've talked about in this course, I want you guys to create your own little notebook with the systems in place that work for you. Okay, maybe for you, taking this strategy on the higher time frames is better because your eye is better at visualizing some of the higher time frames. You know, there's less candlesticks, so it's a bit more clearer picture. Try it out. Try different things. If that works for you, stick to that. Have your plan sticking to the 1 hour. I'm going to stick to the 30-minute. I'm going to stick to the 1 hour. I'm going to stick to the 4 hour. Okay? I'm good at some of these lower time frames because a long time ago I bought a course that involved the 1 minute and the 5 minute, and I learned a lot from that course. I didn't become profitable, but it was enough for me to reuse that information now. So yeah, we're just gonna see if we can find another example. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. I don't want to switch back to the 15-minute or the 1 hour because we're gonna get lost in trading view. But I'm sure our zone would have been refined something like this because we broke all the structure to the left-hand side. We wait for us to come back into the zone and, you know, do some kind of a rejection. I don't know what this would have looked like on the higher time frames, but this could have been a potential stop out. You potentially could have been stopped out. I don't know if this would have been a wick and you would have placed your stop loss above. But, and I don't even know what this would look on this 15-minute. Anyways, I think your first entry, depending on when you woke up, would have been here and you would have gotten out break even. You would have got out break even. But that's okay, right? And even if you got stopped out here, this is like, you know, when you got up at some 10:35, I don't know why you would get up then, but you know, if we got stopped out, it is what it is, okay? But I would still monitor this, okay? Where do I see a break of structure? Okay, here we're not seeing any break of structure. It just keeps going up and up and up and up, right? It's just, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We're just going up, up, up. And we're just, now we dip back into our zone. And there's the break of structure, okay? Just to be sure. You can go into your 30-minute and you could have probably gotten an entry here. But look at this. If I saw this, okay, if I saw this, where's my X? Just gonna draw this. This structure being broken from the 5-minute, okay, perfect. I don't need to enter off there anymore. This is a 5-minute supply zone, plus it's in confluence with my higher time frame supply zone. So perhaps you would have already gotten an entry somewhere in here, your first entry. Now you have the ability to get one more entry, okay? And that would have been up here. So it's like I already have, I do this all the time. You'll see it in my signals chat. I have a zone and then I have another zone drawn in the zone. It's because that's like my refined 5-minute, come back in there and I'm going to take it, trade like zone, okay? Boom, we get in there. You know, there's multiple ways you can take this to be safer. Okay, you know, we make a bearish push down. Just to be safer, wait for this push to get broken. This low of this candle. Let me draw it out. Just to be safer, okay? Big confluences. We've already broken structures of the past on the left-hand side. We have our major zone here. We have our refined zone here. We're already in an entry. We're coming back. We see this doji candle and a strong momentum candle pushing to the downside. You're in right here and keep it very tight. You can keep it very tight. In the start, I mean, you don't really need to, but I go like just very tight sometimes like that. And like you can just smash some really crazy trades, you know, just even down here, looking to the left-hand side, obviously. First, you know, a 1 to 10 on a 0.5% risk. A 0.5% risk is insane, okay? So I'm going to end this video here. This was the scale in for more profits video. I don't want you to pay too much attention to this till later on, until you've back tested the strategy, until you've forward tested the strategy. You've put, you know, $100 in a small account and you've tried it out, okay? Then when you're comfortable and you feel like you're ready, then I want you to come back to this video, okay? So we're going to end that right here.